It's great to have you here for this call. And to give a little introduction to the viewers, Yogini was a student at Xavier's Institute of Communications, and I had gone there as a visiting faculty for social media. And I've been in touch with her since then. And the thing that really got me interested in her Instagram profile was when she went to Sikkim to teach at a local school. So that is such a offbeat thing. And yeah, I think I was always following her posts after that. And now again, she's doing something very interesting. This is, I think, after a few years of her Sikkim experience. She's now in Pondicherry at Auroville. And I thought this is really perfect. Let's get her on this chat and she can just, let's know why she does what she does and all the interesting stuff. So Yogini, tell us a little bit about how you landed up in Sikkim teaching at a school, which is so different. It's not really a career choice that a lot of people make. So how did that happen? And now what are you doing in Auroville? And just give us some idea.
Well, for starters, thank you for having me here. And since I was a child, I never thought about career opportunities, etc. I always wanted to do something that would make me happy. So I tried various things after my college to see what would interest me, etc. After I left my first job, which was also interesting, it was a political campaign.
Yeah, I remember.
I realized that I wanted to do something more, travel a bit, find out how people live, and maybe see if I could write stories. So I chose very randomly Sikkim. Basically, I wanted to go to Indonesia, and I've never traveled alone before. So I had never traveled alone before, and my dad was like, just be very practical, realistic, and you can choose something in India. So we were like, okay, let's go to Sikkim. And some contact in Sikkim, and I asked them if there was a school available, and they asked for a year of commitment, and it was organized that I go there. So it was basically my place for a year, and I could travel the entire state. But it's not as filmy as you would have thought, because the idea came from a Hindi film that I could go travel, let's see what happens. But when reality hits you, it's not like that, because the pain or something that you're running away from will always follow you wherever you are. So that was an important, it hit me right there. And it was a beginning of finding out if I was happy where I was exactly, and not try and find something outside of me. But it kind of grounded me then, and I was living in a rural place, although it was Gangtok, but compared to Bombay, where I'm from, it's very rural. And you had to just uh, be there on ground, do your own things, and just manage your own way. So, and also take responsibility of so many kids that you're teaching. So that kind of changed my life altogether. And I knew that I would never be able to live in Bombay like I used to. And that was the start where I started detaching from a lot of things I was very familiar with from as a child. And my friends getting married, a lot of things happening. I never connected with that anymore. I was very simple, and I knew that I wanted to live a very simple life, connect with people at a very human level, and see how I like just be with nature, just relax where I am, but still do fantastic things. So when I came back, it was a time where I got to learn a lot of things. So I worked on I assisted on a book. I tour guided in Bombay, and then found out like how I could live, etc. So all of that training happened. I resolved a lot of issues with my parents when I was home. And then after I was done with all of that, I chose now, okay, boss, I'm done. Now I need to go home. And this time I didn't run away. This time it was very clear that I'm with my parents. I talk to them every day. I'm not running away from anything. I'm just choosing a life that I want to live. So I had no plans when I came to Auroville. I just had become friends with my host, Volker. He's a German man who moved to Auroville 25 years ago. And he was my host when I first came in 2017 after my first job. I left my first job. And it was the day we met, we just started talking, and it was the best connections I had at that time. So I just came on that trust and I stayed with them for 2 months. And his wife is doing a project in Auroville. It's called Aura Network, and it's a mobile application. It's still in the, it's just launched test phase where they're trying an alternative economy for the community and also a platform where community sharing is possible. And I was very interested because for me, that would mean that a lot of people would connect together using technology in a very positive way. And my skills are those very skills where I can connect with people, talk to them. And I said, I would like to work with you. So I started working like that, and I made such amazing friends in short time that I'm here in the last 2 months. There's a lady, Chinese lady, whose original name is Dali, and she is now called Anandi, and where we connected on the platform where we exchanged some body tapping. So she taps the body; it's like a massage, and she did that for me. I did that for her. I don't know how we did that. And we exchanged childhood stories, and she's someone I can rely on today. Like, because after those 2 months, I found my own place. It's a small that I live in, made of wood and mud, with a toilet outside, a stove outside, and I'm just very happy to live here. She just showed up at my door and made me feel comfortable in my own home. And there is there's no thought here in Auroville where I'm trying to figure out where's my next meal going to come from, because as much as you learn to give in the community, someone will just open up, ask you for food the next minute, or just take care of your need. So somewhere where you're giving your best, it comes from a different place, and you just know you're in the universal flow of things, and you don't need to worry about, I don't have enough, I don't have the money, or my bank balance is low. None of that. You, with just your pure heart, you just know you're in a very abundant place. um, and that it just opens up your heart. There's more trust, and there's more freedom to be yourself, and that's what I've always been looking for. And as I open up my heart, I see more people around me opening up as well. And it's so beautiful to see that synchronicity. And the more you open up, the it's what I always wanted, the intimate setting of just getting to know another person, regardless of where you are, what you think. None of that. None of that. Maybe we could enjoy some intellectual talk, but beyond that, just know that there's another human being who's as fantastic as you are. And we connect in those moments. And you just relax then. There is no pressure of wanting to be something. So that's what I found. Like, so many friends like that, like Walker and Hejong. Hejong is his wife, who I'm working with. They are like my new parents here. And yeah, and I can go back and like talk to them about whatever I want. Uh, there are so many friends, and you don't see the nationality or the conditioning they have or I have, because, and not skin, not language, nothing. You just, they're your friends.
Right. I kind of understand. I have been in similar situations. Probably I didn't find an exact setup like you have, but I've been in similar situations because I also go to these ashram spaces, and I traveled a lot as well. I understand. I think we were discussing once. I was in this place called Tiruvannamalai. I don't know if you know it. Ramana Maharshi's ashram is there, and I was having
from here.
yeah, it's quite close from here, from there, and I was having this discussion with some people there also, because we have one cafe over there where a lot of these sadhana, people who stay there to do sadhana, and devotees will come to eat. So we are all doing our own stuff. Like we have our own paths, and I may do Kriya Yoga, somebody else is a bhakti devotee, somebody else is doing something else. But we come to eat over there, and the conversations are very interesting. So we were discussing the same thing, because I think what happens in such spaces, we all are coming with some different intention. Like in the society, people are living, their intentions are very different, but a lot of us people, we are looking for something more positive. We are looking for a certain place like this. So a lot of times when we come to this place, we all of a sudden find this resonance and a sync taking place. And in general, people are being a lot more positive to each other, and there's just so much trust and just a very nice vibe and culture which sometimes develops. It's very nice. I think I really, when you're speaking, I'm kind of getting a similar feeling, and little nostalgia is there, because I have also experienced in certain places. But then again, the logistics and lot of situation has to be balanced, no, in terms of life situation and how much we can settle in there, I would say. So
Yeah, so for me, I don't know if I'm going to live here all my life. I don't know. I
yeah,
have
it's a
given myself a
little,
side. But it's perfectly fine, because
yeah.
earlier I was taking my help from my parents to live
Mm.
here. And as soon as I started working on the network, I get some money. Half of it goes to rent
Yeah.
this place, and then I can manage the rest.
Mm.
And it's comfortable, and it's not the city life you would imagine. But
Yeah.
there's not one day that there is no adventure. There's
Yeah.
not one day no love. There's not one day there's no friendship. And I'm doing the best things possible. Like the other day, I also take care of kids, by the way.
Oh.
And the other day, this 7-year-old girl that I was taking care of was showing me the trees in her garden, and
Mm.
we were climbing all trees possible. Uh, and she was like, "Don't worry, you can just push. Don't be such a silly person. You can just climb. It's easy. I'll show you how to do." And she was very patient. She showed me how to climb the tree. You can step here. You can step here.
Mm.
And there's also another small lake close to where I live.
I saw the
You
Instagram
just
photographs.
Yeah, so you just go walk, you see what is possible,
Mm.
and you find out.
Very nice. So, in terms of Auroville, you said you met this German person, because I have also visited Auroville a couple of times, and I have had my relatives who visited there. So we find it a little difficult. We don't understand how to really enter into it, because the place itself, it's all a little disjointed, right? There is some foresty area in the middle, and there's something here, something there, and then how is it exactly? This place you are in is like a smaller community within the entire Auroville, or how is it?
I'll explain to you what the situation is. So the
Yeah.
first time when I came, it'll be very surreal or very not realistic when I talk about this to a lot of people.
Mm.
But when I came on intuition. I was looking
Okay.
at the guest house list that is listed on the
Mm.
Auroville website, and I just chose this place because it kind of resonated with me at some
Okay.
level. I don't know how.
Mm.
And as soon as I met this person, we clicked. I have no idea how,
Mm.
what. And it's also a frame of mind. It's
Mm.
also the willingness that you have to
Right.
be open to any kind of experience, which allows you to grow.
Mm.
So you come with a thought that, okay, I want to do ABC, it's never
Right.
going to happen.
Okay.
That kind of opened up for me a lot of things.
Mm.
And I lived 4 days with him and 5 days at another community center. So,
Mhm.
and I had very drastic, different experiences in the short 10 days that I stayed for the first time.
Okay.
When I came back,
Mm.
I understood how Auroville actually, there's a certain rhythm to it. And sometimes people find it difficult, like you
Yeah,
just
I think
said,
so.
because there are no signboards, there are
Mm.
no concrete roads, there is no street light. Uh, it's a city, but it's a
Mm.
forest
Yeah.
also.
Mm.
Uh, so uh, you when there is willingness to just
Mm.
get inside the community, be part of the community, it opens up. So what I discovered was people have just come here on trust, and from whatever else they wanted to leave their homes and come here, live under the human unity that the mother and Sri Aurobindo wanted to create. So there's a big Matri Mandir right in the center where the mother pointed out was the best place to build it. So it's a globe which, as I understand, which is as secular, as open as I can understand, is it's a place for human unity which belongs to no man, and everybody's free to come. So in 1980, legally, India allowed this place. Like there was an act, and Auroville is a separate entity in itself.
What? Are you serious? I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah, it's a separate entity.
Wow.
So in 1980, this happened. So it's a legal thing.
Okay.
And it has its own laws, its own functions. And I studied that as well, because I wanted to understand how people live here. So I read a lot about how it's structured. I might not be very clear because it's just 2 months I'm here. But at the top most is the residents assembly, and then there's a working committee and the general committee, and so many committees which take decisions every day for a lot of things that happen here. So people are just trying to work things out. They come with their own bag and baggages, but this place is so universal that you have to drop that baggage and you have to move fast with it. And the faster you drop it, the faster your transformation is, the more open you become. And in the center is the Matri Mandir, which belongs to no one. And it just is the elevation of human consciousness as you realize that the power is right within you and nowhere outside. You kind of join forces with other beings around you who are also aspiring for that level of consciousness or higher. And you kind of join together in a network which becomes so powerful that you just create a new possibility for the entire world. That's how I see it, as plainly as that. Now, to explain how Auroville is, there are these small communities that different people have started, and the communities are called Svidam, sincerity, humility, certitude, whatever they wanted to call, they've called their own community. So right now I'm staying in a community called Aurodam. So there are more than 100 communities like this, and there's these small houses. So you get like a patch of land, and then you're with the community, you share things, and it depends on how much community is open to each other. There are things happening together. So it's like a smaller network of people in the larger network of Auroville.
Right.
And the more human, the best way to do is just humanly connect with another human being, and you will know where it is, because you will never know that there is a restaurant somewhere in the woods behind a tree unless you meet someone there. It's not listed on any app, it's not listed on any internet, definitely you'll not find it on Google Maps. You will just know once you know people. And you can find the best food possible, you can find the best people possible only if you're open to that growth. That I know I'm now being redundant about it, but openness and willingness is the most important. If you come like a tourist, it's just a 5-day job, and then you just see whatever you want to see and you go. You chill and you go. But if you really want to be part of the community, it's a different journey altogether.
Very interesting. Because as I said, I've had a few people, like I had one auntie who was so curious. So Auroville always brings this level of curiosity and this interest in a lot of us. But I think I don't know too many people who are able to crack it, like you are saying. I think in a way you've been able to become part of it. Because I know, like my auntie, for example, she was so interested and she went alone. She's married with kids and everything. And from a traditional setup, she actually went alone from Ahmedabad to Pondicherry, and she she stayed in a guest house. But the thing was, she said she was so scared because there was no light. It was in the middle of a forest and all that stuff. And probably she didn't make any of those connections. So she didn't have such a great experience. But I think it was good because at least that curiosity part got addressed to some extent. And I think in these places, I actually understand what you say a lot about the intuitive thing. Because I think for a lot of us at the end of day, especially even when we are traveling, doing the non-touristy type of travel or any of the ashrams, if we are going, there is a very high level of this something on its own, things have to happen actually. Otherwise, you just, even in the most sorted of place, you might get stuck with something. So I have actually also been realizing it a lot in my own life because weirdly things end up happening sometimes, and intuition definitely plays a role in it. I totally agree with it. I think so.
And I have had bad days. I have had bad days here. I have had
imagine.
really bad days. I have changed like 6 scooters in 2 months.
Oh my
because
God.
something would happen.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just adventure. You're breaking one fear, you're breaking next fear, and then the next, and then it's just going on.
Yeah.